Welcome back to the show. Today's conversation, I think, will resonate with a lot of you because it's about relationships, touches on one of the most meaningful relationships really we can experience, and that's the relationship between mothers and daughters. And my guest today is Dr. Allison Alford, who is a clinical associate professor at Baylor University, communications expert. You teach, though, not in arts and sciences, you're in the business school, which is
Right.
wonderful.
Yes. Yeah. It's a crossover. So it's communication skills, but for the business students. So I teach the undergrads business communication and the grad in the MBA program, managerial communication. And it comes down to the same types of skills: listening to people, empathizing, um, being aware of who am I speaking to and what do they want, persuasion. So there's some crossover, but my training is communication studies and family communication.
Well, and your book, Good Daughtering,
Brought it.
has you just happen to have a copy. You have really got there's a lot of buzz about you
Yes.
and the book. I mean, we recently made a lot of appearances around town at different events and
Mhm.
things. And Good Morning America. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah,
Look at you.
that was
Network
fantastic.
TV.
It was wonderful.
Okay, so and I watched that segment and it was really very, very good. And so let's start off with the just what is good daughtering? And
Yeah.
even more important than that, where'd you come up with the word daughtering?
Yeah, great questions. So, daughtering, the way I define it, is the often invisible labor, such as mental, emotional, logistical, and identity labor, that adult daughters are doing in families with the goal of keeping everyone connected. And oftentimes, women don't even realize they're doing it until they're burnt out.
Mhm.
And so, what happened to facilitate me doing this work was I was in graduate school over 10 years ago at UT Austin. And
We
I,
won't hold that
okay,
against
sorry.
you. Yeah.
Well, I went to A&M before that.
Oh, and we
So
won't hold that against
thank
you
you.
either. But
Thank you.
yeah,
But now I teach at Baylor. So here I
so
am.
you're good. You're good.
That's right. And I noticed that there was a lot of material about mothering or parenting.
Hmm.
And it really gave, and I am a mother. I was a mother at that time. I was in my PhD program. I really gave this active lens, like mothering's hard work. And there was a lot of stuff talking about, when we think about mothers, we can see both the beauty and the difficulty. We want to be a mother and it's hard, but we didn't have anything like that about being an adult daughter. It really was coming across to me as either something we never talk about or a very passive role. But the women in my life were not passive, are not
No.
passive. And
Yeah.
so I felt like we needed a change.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you began the research then how
Mhm.
long ago into this subject?
It was over 10 years ago during
Wow.
my doctoral program. I began this research. Particularly, I study families from a qualitative lens in communication, meaning I'm trying to find out from nothing what's there. What is daughtering? What do you do for daughtering? What does daughtering mean to you? And so in the past 10 years, I've interviewed hundreds of women and asked them these questions, given surveys. And when I look at that data from a social scientific perspective, I'm looking to see what they say, but I'm also looking to see what they don't say.
Hmm.
And to me, one of the parts that was very revealing is the lack of words and language and discussion around this important topic. But once we start talking about it, it's elegantly simple to understand, and
Hmm.
we all agree we need to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's just not there yet. So
Hmm.
that's part of what the book is for, is to get that discussion going.
And it's not the same as caregiving.
Not the
Because I
same.
immediately go to my role as my mother's daughter toward the last part of her life.
Mm-hmm.
And our relationship certainly changed
Mm-hmm.
because of, slight dementia and just all those kinds of things. And the roles do reverse and you become the parent.
Well, and I have something to add about that. I have something to say.
Hmm.
But daughtering is not the same as caregiving. So caregiving and the way a daughter takes care of her parent in later life is certainly a form of daughtering. My perspective is it's not everything we do as daughters over a lifetime. a 25-year-old daughter is choosing to call up her mom and listen to her workday. She's deciding whether or not to go home for the weekend from her new job and whether or not to let her parents in or not. And those decisions to give access to her life and to try to be a member of the family are often as impactful as the times where we make a meal or we go to an event or there's a storm coming, so I go board up your windows, or
Mm-hmm.
you want to renovate the house and I go help you paint. And so daughtering doesn't just start when our parents are ill or when they're older. It's really happening all life long. But when they're ill, it's a lot of stuff we have to take on. And another fellow researcher um, calls that role expansion. And she said, we really need to think instead of role reversal, instead of thinking I'm the mom now,
Mm-hmm.
instead I'm still daughtering. It's just daughtering plus plus.
Yeah,
It's new forms of daughtering.
I got that. I get that. Why do you think there really hasn't been a language to
Mhm.
describe this?
Mhm. Well, one of the things that we know, first of all, is that it's only recently that we're really talking about women's work in the home as work, as important work, as
Mm-hmm.
what we call social reproductive labor, where we're saying, especially to the younger generations, hey, you need to do equal in parenting or cleaning or thinking and scheduling work. So, women's work in general hasn't been highly valued, but I think there's also tends to be an emphasis on women as mothers. So we think of all care behaviors as mothering and maternal. And so
Mm-hmm.
we don't really give language to this different way of thinking about care behaviors coming through in a family.
Yeah. What led you? Was there a moment when you went, ah, this is a thing I could write a book eventually,
It
10
kind
years
of,
ago?
yeah, kind of. I would say a lot of my childhood led up to being ready to think about these ideas.
Were you an
I
only child?
No,
Were
I have
you?
an older sister,
Okay.
and I was raised here in Texas. I'm an eighth generation
Look
Texan.
at you.
I know I don't have the accent or sound like it, but my when I was in middle school, my mom went back to school to become a marriage and family therapist. And then I certainly benefited from her education
Mm-hmm.
and the way that she changed some family dynamics in the broader family. And so as I grew up through adolescence and young adulthood, I was already thinking a lot about families and how families communicate and healthy families. But it was really an article I read, and it's from the 80s by Michaela DiLeonardo, and it's called um, The Female World of Holiday Cards and Letters, and it was eliminating this topic called kin work or kin keeping. And it's the
Kin as in Kin?
KIN,
Okay.
kinship.
Kinship, yeah.
It's really illuminating that in this article, she's saying, when you send the Christmas cards, that's work.
Oh,
You
yeah.
you got to plan these days, you got to plan the photo, you got to pay for the photo, you got to pick the outfits, you got to pick the photo, you got to
I
get it
know.
printed, you got to mail it, you got to put the addresses
Yeah.
on it. And who's doing that? Women. And so it was really in that moment that I had an aha, as well as thinking, well, I can't rewrite what she did. For research, you have to extend it.
Sure.
So then my thought was, oh gosh, this is a ripe area for
Mm-hmm.
me to talk about as an active daughter in my family and as someone who really believes in talking about women in empowering and exciting ways and not thinking of us just lounging around, lingering around,
Eating
That's
bonbons in
right.
your fuzzy house shoes. Yeah, right. The title itself, though, is so powerful with the good daughter. So, what is so important about being having good daughtering
Mhm.
skills?
What I noticed when I spoke to women is there are a lot of expectations and a lot of confusion around what it means to be a good daughter or good enough. And therefore, in many ways, that goalpost is always moving.
Mm,
Am I good enough? Did I call enough? Did I visit enough?
yeah.
And what I wanted to speak to in the book was the cultural expectations and naming them and noticing that they're all over, but they may or may not be real. It may or may not be what your parent actually wants or what you think a good daughter is. And so you can reclaim that idea of good daughtering
Hmm.
by setting up some goals for yourself, by communicating with your family, by partnering with your siblings or your spouse to help with this stuff. And you can love and enjoy your family. So a bit of the book points out this pain point, daughtering
Hmm.
is work. But by the end of the book, the goal is for people to want to stay in their family, to love their family, to
Yeah.
be supported, but with some power to make changes when necessary.
Very good. And I'm thinking too, because I have several aunts who did not have children,
Yes.
and I'm the only girl in
Yes.
the family. And so I'm niecing too,
Yes. There's a
which
there's a
is
there's a
lovely. I mean, it's wonderful. I've had this opportunity, but yeah.
I think that's beautiful. Yeah, there's a great book about aunting
Uh-huh.
and the role of aunts, particularly in that kind of stereotypical maiden aunt who wants to be attached to a family but doesn't have children of her own. So I think it's excellent to think of niecing and noticing that maybe that's a very specific lane. It's not the exact same as daughtering. But
Hmm.
once we put special language to it, I think that matters. We don't want to use mothering to describe every time we're kind or generous or care for someone. I mean, inside my home, I'm not mothering my husband. Ew.
Not supposed to be.
No, no, right? And I
Yeah,
save mothering for my
of
children.
course.
And
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
don't use mothering on anybody else. I use friending and wifing and daughtering.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What do you hope readers feel when they take your book up, and perhaps what do you want them to understand differently?
Yes. The goal, and what I've heard from many readers, is that after reading it, there's a sense of relief.
Ah, good.
Other people are going through this. There's a name for this.
Yeah.
There's some language. And there's some tools and resources
Oh,
to,
it's wonderful how
yeah,
you do it. Yeah, you
yes,
have charts and all kinds of,
yes.
checklists and
At the end of every chapter, there's an activity. Like here's one called expressive writing. And a lot of these are research-driven activities that
hmm.
are being provided. At the end of the book, I have some activities. This one says, "If I could wave a magic wand,"
Whew. Yeah.
and it's a bit of a dreaming about future daughtering. And I think I want people to feel empowered when they read this, that you can make changes. They might be small changes and they might take a while, but you're not stuck in a loop or just in this one spot in your family system or with a dynamic that doesn't serve you or suit you. You can make different changes that will help you have better relationships and ultimately a better life.
Hmm. So much more I want to talk to you about. In fact, I want to kind of go chapter by chapter through some of them because every one is so rich with information, with stories of women that you've spoken with,
Yes.
and anecdotes and that type of thing. But we're going to take a break. We will be right back and visit some more with Allison Alford. So stay with us.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit angles90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
The way they take care of me has made me a Ram driver. I said I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit angles90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
What is that?
Life was quiet at the Hard Rock Ranch. Just a little too quiet at the Hard Rock Ranch. My, how things have changed. God must have chuckled when he gave us this chance. Feral cat had some babies behind a AC. Mama cat had some babies behind a AC. She ran off and left them, and they were dying in front of me. Wife said we must save them, and I knew she was right. These little critters needed our love that night. So we bought some syringes and we learned how to feed. Now we got 3 new kitties and it's no easy feat. There's a fluff tornado inside the house. We've got sharp claws all over the couch, 'cause we got kitties. We got kitties. Kitties, we got kitties. They're itty bitty and they're teeny and they're weeny and they're needy and they're kitties. Kitties, itty bitty kitties. They're so pretty and they're purry and they're furry and I love my little kitties. Kitties, scratchy crazy kitties. Climbing crazy, bitey, lazy, speedy, sleepy, manic, pooping, lovely kitties. Kitties, kitty, kitty, kitties. We weren't ready, but we got them, and they're crazy, but we love these little kitties. We weren't ready, but we got them, and they're crazy, but we love these little kitties. They're wrecking everything, but baby, they're such soft and purry, pretty, furry kitties. They're wrecking everything, but baby, they're such soft and purry, pretty, furry kitties. They're wrecking everything, but baby, they're such soft and purry, pretty, furry kitties.
If I had somebody that was looking for a car, I would definitely recommend Allison Samuels. The trust that I have, the care that they take, they genuinely want to take care of you. They really ask for your feedback when you go to the support department to make sure they're taking care of you in every way possible. So I really appreciate that they listen to your feedback.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
are back with Dr. Allison Alford, who has written Good Daughtering, and it is the book with all the buzz right now because she coined a word, the daughtering, not dottering, but
Right.
daughtering.
That's what spell check thinks it is.
I bet it does. I bet every time it hears that. But let's kind of take it first chapter. In the first chapter, you describe daughtering as an unseen role. What does that look like in everyday life, that unseen role?
So unseen, invisible, hidden labors are things that people are doing, but they're not getting any gold stars. They're not getting any credit. They're not having their friends or family notice, wow, that took resources like finances or time or energy. And daughtering is one of those areas. So a lot of things that daughters do are hard to see because they're things that are happening mentally. They're planning, they're worrying, they're being a CEO, they're vision casting. I've had many daughters tell me that one of the things they do best in families is they think ahead and then remove roadblocks. And then when nothing bad happens, nobody notices because the roadblock was gone. Maybe the roadblock is, a dinner's coming up this weekend and it's a big family dinner. And I know that mom is having some frustrations with her brother, Uncle Harry. And I call up Uncle Harry and maneuver that. Or maybe my brother has been setting off my mom and dad. And I call him up and I tell him, do not talk about this thing.
Whatever you do.
Whatever you do.
Yeah, right.
And so it's things like that. Or I think, oh, my mom will be stressed out, so I'm going to offer to bring the food. And then I pay for it and I plan it and I organize it and I bring it and I show up early and I clean it. And it's not that other people do nothing, but daughters do a lot of this type of work that barely gets any notice. But we're spending so much effort on it.
Yeah. You talk about the social landscape of daughtering. How have cultural expectations shaped what we believe a daughter is? And I know speaking of culture, different cultures maybe have different expectations.
Oh, for sure. I think, largely the book and the women that I've mostly spoken to are from the United States. And so there's for sure lots of different cultural pieces around the United States, but a lot of similarities and trends. But I spoke to some women from around the world and they said, oh, I would not get away with talking to my mom like that. Or I'm expected to have my parents live with me. Or I'm expected to live at home till I'm 30 or married. And so those are some things to be negotiated. Because one of the interesting things is seeing generationally how things are changing. But when we learn daughtering, we're watching our parent daughter their parent, and maybe even higher to the grandparent. But we're watching different generations that live inside different economic contexts and different political contexts. So it's changing over time, as well as in different regional areas or based on your country of origin, your socioeconomic status, etc. And so we can see trends, but pretty much everybody's doing something differently, even family to family, like right here in Waco. We're all doing daughtering a little bit differently, but we share some commonality too.
Many women reach a point where they want to redefine their role as a daughter. And so what prompts that shift?
So in the first part of the book, I think the big idea is just, whoa, daughtering is so much more than I thought it was. Look at all these things that I'm doing. And then once you see that you're doing a lot, the point comes where you say, maybe I don't want to do that much, or maybe these things aren't enjoyable and I was just doing them because I thought I had to. So how can I make changes to redefine what I think is a good daughter, or ways to show up in my family that build connection rather than building resentment or creating burnout? And that may mean putting in some boundaries or not doing. I sometimes tell people to do a stop doing list. Name 5 things that you're no longer going to do if they don't really work for your family, and maybe nobody even needs them.
Yeah, they may not notice.
They may not even notice.
Yeah.
And you are, burning the candle at both ends
knocking
without a lot
out.
of benefit. So you can, once you see the role of an adult daughter, you can redefine what do I think a good way to go about this would be, clear-eyed, and make those changes.
You write about daughtering out loud. What would it look like for society to truly recognize the role of daughters?
When I started talking about daughters and daughtering, my mom started telling me, "Thank you for daughtering me," and "Good daughtering." And at first she was asking me, like, "What is daughtering and where can I see it so that I can encourage you?" And I so appreciate that. But part of being a good daughter and daughtering out loud is we have to narrate our daughtering. Here's what I did. Here's what I gave. Here's how much I spent. Here's what that cost me. Here are things I didn't do because I did
Because
this
I was
for you.
doing this, yeah.
And then the people who are listening to that. So if you're a mom or a dad of an adult daughter, take that without feeling like it's complaining. It's just narrating. They're not saying, "I don't want to keep doing this."
Yeah, poor me.
Poor me.
Look what
or,
all I
"Oh,
did
look
for
how
you."
terrible it is being your daughter. No, it's more of, I just want some credit. I want some kudos. And I want others, especially siblings, to kind of see what's going on.
Yeah.
So for the world to acknowledge daughtering and talk about it more, we've got to use the language. We have to say out loud what we're doing. We have to have podcasts about it.
Yeah.
And then we're living out loud as daughters.
Yeah, interesting. What about your relationship with your mom?
Wonderful lady. My mom has such a special place in my life. And I kind of talk about the type of daughter I think I am. I think I'm in what I call the messy middle, which is my mom and I, we do not have a perfect relationship. She's not perfect. I'm not perfect. Sometimes, like the other day, we had a little trip together and we were in TJ Maxx, and I looked at her and I said, "Sometimes you are so annoying." And she looked at me and said, "You too." And then we hugged and we laughed. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
And it's not this super intimate movie theater level story, but we're also not really messed up. There's not trauma or toxicity or abuse. It's somewhere in that messy middle. And I give a lot of kudos to my mom and dad for encouraging me to say what I need to say from my research. And I think that is so valuable for them to say, "Hey, we're good. We're going to take care of our own mental health and our own status."
That's important, because you might have been, as you're writing, thinking, "Oh, how's mom going to interpret that?"
Oh, no, I definitely let her read an early copy. And I definitely kept some things out, Anne. Okay. I do have self-preservation.
Hey, you're smart. Your mama didn't raise no fool,
That's
as
right.
they say. One of the most powerful questions you ask is, what do I owe? How should daughters think about responsibility and obligation?
Obligation's often considered a dirty word, right, in families. Like, "I don't want you to do that because you feel like you have to, or you owe me something."
Oh,
And yet, or maybe generationally, it's different here and there. But I think that we live in American society with a very economic mindset. And so my parents gave to me, they bought into me, they invested, they gave me money. And now I have money, resources, and time, and they have the need. So I owe this to them. And it's not a bad way of thinking, but it can sometimes lead us pretty far down a path of feeling like our worthiness as a daughter is only comes from a tit for tat,
pay
it back, an equality lens. And so for the daughters who are doing that, daughtering only out of obligation with no enjoyment or benefit or blessing, we've got to rethink what's a good life? What do I owe? Some people are over demanding too, and you don't owe them just because they ask you for it. And think to yourself, not everything, not all about being a daughter in a family is about earning it. I am worthy of being a daughter in this family, being loved, even if I'm a little slug-a-bug who hasn't done anything special. And so it's particularly, I'm talking to those women who are overdoing in order to try to earn love, affection, or their place in the family.
Yeah, you explain. Look into how parents, how they change over time, and then those relationships change. And I think, in my relationship with my mom too, as she began to decline, but prior to that, Fridays would be our day to go toot around town and go have lunch or whatever. Just a time that carved out for her to go and do if she wanted to go to Dillard's or whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
And that took time
But
from
then
you, but you also
reality,
enjoyed it.
I loved it, loved it, loved it. And so, yeah, and it really treasured memories. But then when she began to decline and then needed nursing care and all that kind of stuff, that was, you know, just the dynamics. And then I became a caregiver. So then there's
Yes.
that.
Well, and I talk about in the book 2 types of happiness that I think is another way that we can frame how to enjoy our family life and being a daughter. You know, sometimes when we're with our families, let's say 4th of July weekend, Memorial Day, you know, Christmas, I'm thinking of like fun events.
Mm-hmm.
We are like, oh, it's just cozy and fun and silly and fireworks and hot dogs. And it's,
But they're also work.
yes,
I'm
yes.
thinking about all
But
the
those
stuff
are-
that goes into putting on those
Yes.
fun events.
But those are a type of what we call hedonic happiness. They give us a little hit of happiness in that moment. Another type of happiness is called eudaimonic happiness. And it's the kind of happiness where I measure, have I lived a good life? Does this thing contribute to me feeling good about myself overall? So when you became a caregiver, there's very little hedonic happiness in that, but you felt like a good daughter, a good person, a good human for doing that, even if it was dirty or messy or time consuming or expensive. And I think that's the other ways we can think about showing up in families is not everything's going to be a today level happiness. Sometimes it's a happiness of a life well lived, a well done, good and faithful servant kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, not all mother-daughter relationships are easy.
Oh, of course not.
So how do you approach the more painful dynamics?
First and foremost, women should know that I think therapy's great. Counseling, seeing professionals. You know, as I said, I grew up with a mom who's a marriage and family therapist. So I stress for some women if they get into this book and they're feeling like, well, my mom would never go for this, or this won't work in my family. Maybe you have a tougher family system that needs a little bit more care. But I really believe that all families can change over time. But it might be like putting on a pair of braces. It might take 3 years to get a little movement.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's not worthwhile. But there are some tasks in here for daughters to think about where they ask them, you know, you can write out a difficult conversation, and it gives you a script of ways that you might address that conversation. Or there's an activity about setting boundaries. Good fences make good neighbors. So sometimes we need to build a few fences, and the neighbor might not love it when we do it, but over time, it's still really valuable to do. So I encourage women to sort of find their own place in this book and begin the journey there, recognizing it's tough and not everybody's going to be happy the whole time you do it. It's still worthwhile.
And if someone is in that strained, maybe complicated dynamic, what is the best, what would you recommend being the best place to start? Is it with counseling or?
I think so. You know, when you're in a relationship with an intractable person, a part of the question that I would ask is this actually even an abusive situation? Is someone taking advantage of you or speaking to you really unkindly? And that is, you know, I think we've heard a lot recently on TV and media about going no contact. And have you heard of that? It was on Oprah recently, where adult children just decide not to speak to their parents anymore or have access to the grandkids, and they just go no contact. And my desire in life is that people don't have to do that, that there's a lot of steps along the way before you do that. But I don't think most people want to do that. They feel like it's a last resort. So getting professional help, but also the book is about talking to each other. Talk to your girlfriends.
That could
talk
be
to your siblings.
A catalyst for that, just to say, I read this book.
I read this book. What's your mom like? You know, and you can get, you know, a book club and you can have some honest conversation, because I do think that when our families are difficult, some of us feel a lot of shame about that. And then we're not talking about it. We're not communicating with others to get the support we need.
Right. When you think about the future of daughtering, what would you like to see?
Right now, there's also a big trend towards thinking about eldest daughters and birth order. And I would love to hear more stories from all kinds of daughters. I think we need to know more about the only daughter. I think we,
That's
whether
me.
you're an only child or the only daughter,
Mhm.
I think we need to know a lot more about stepdaughtering and daughter-in-lawing, and that those are still the daughter role, but they
Yeah.
have some complexities and,
That's
family
true.
dynamics going on. And as you said, culturally, I think we could get a lot more data and stories from women about how their religious beliefs impact daughtering, or how
Mhm.
a specific cultural practice or holiday or clothing um, influences how they do daughtering. And those are fascinating ways that we can see the beauty of God's world in the ways that we do things a little differently.
So what do you think a healthier model of that relationship would look like?
For me, as a communication
Mhm.
scientist, my goal is to just get people talking, get people thinking about the idea, and get people talking to each other. And as we communicate about ideas, we are remaking our relationship. So rather than giving an outcome of this is the ideal relationship, rather, instead, my recommendation is to remake that relationship together, to communicate more about the role of daughter with your loved ones, with all of your loved ones. In my household, I have 2 teenagers and a spouse, and they are all enlisted in my daughtering. If we're going for a weekend, I say to my husband, Joe, okay, do you have 5 topics? And he has to have topics ready to talk about in case I give him the signal that I need a break. He's supposed to jump in and start talking. And my kids know when they need to be helpful or distracting or take over. And that allows me to be a really good daughter, because I made kind of a daughtering mission statement for myself, which is also in here. I want my parents to feel loved. When I get annoyed and frustrated, I'm not conveying love.
Right.
So I get these other people to jump in and help me have a break so I can also still achieve being the daughter I want to be. And so all of that is CEO behavior of strategizing and organizing and talking to my sister and brother-in-law and all the cousins. So communicating about it more. That's my suggestion.
Mhm. Was there anything that really surprised you through your research of this, maybe in a good way or a bad way?
Well, one of the first surprises was when I asked daughters in my early research, tell me about what you do as a daughter. They couldn't. They would tell me stories about their mother. They would tell
Mhm.
me stories about receiving mothering. And I was like, no, but what do you do? What do you give her? What do you say on the phone? What do you give access to? And after doing some prompting, they were able to draw that out. But it was so strange and, a brain flip to do that they weren't bringing that up. And then I think that there's a lot of interesting information to be learned about the different generations, and particularly I'm most well versed with my generation. I'm an elder millennial, and thinking about my parents who are baby boomers. But there's more to learn about what, Gen Z and the upcoming Gen Alpha, what do they think are necessary care behaviors? And also, as they like to protect themselves and do for themselves well, what do they think are unnecessary things
Mhm.
that we don't have to do anymore? So those are the areas that I'm looking forward to researching in the future.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as a mother of 3 boys,
Okay.
I had no daughters. So I'll never forget my grandmother, after I had the 3rd boy, she said, you need to have another, but you need to have a girl that'll take care of you in your old age. I said, I just better pray they'd marry women that like me.
Yes.
That's my only hope. So when my firstborn at his wedding rehearsal dinner, I told that story. My daughter-in-law, Kendall, I said, do you like me? And she's kind of like, do I have to tell you right now?
So far.
Do you need to know right now?
You make
So,
a great point though, right? What do sons do?
Yeah.
And what is sunning? And I think the thing is that men can do care work.
Yeah.
Men can give a lot of support and love and empathy to their family members. It's just not expected culturally for men to be the ones who are organizing an event, soothing hurt feelings, calling everyone around and organizing a family photo shoot. But it doesn't have to be not men. The difference there is changing our expectations of our men. And so I'm working on that with my 17-year-old son.
Good.
And letting him know what I expect from him in terms of caring for me in the future.
Yeah. Well, that's all very good. And the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say, I have 3 granddaughters. So
there you go.
I'm hoping, I always say payback is sweet, having the 3. But yeah, so anyway.
Intergenerational family dynamics are so fascinating. And what a gift it is to be in a family. Of course, there's headaches and there's financial aspects, and there's difficulties. But what I want daughters to be able to focus on is if you can get rid of some of the cobwebs and the frustrations, you can name it, you can bring them to light, you can get credit for what you're doing, then you can start moving on to the gratitude part. You're like, I'm glad that I have this posse to catch me if I fall. And I'm okay if I don't get much done in this year or this quarter. They'll love me anyway. And once we can reach some of those feelings, we can sort of remake how to do family without it having to be so transactional or maybe not be so much work.
Yeah. Well, you have done an amazing work through your book, Good Daughtering. I appreciate so much you spending some time with me today to talk about it and to spread the word and to help people through what you're doing as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
The reason that their service is outstanding because the people they have working, behind the desk and the folks working out in the garage, taking care of business. And they give you a date, they give you a time, and they're spot on. And they're professional, they take care of it, and they answer all your questions, and they're fun to work with.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
I had a panic moment running my hands through my hair, and that's when I found Keeps. Keeps gave me the results that I was really looking for.
I definitely felt a lot more confident once I saw my hair coming back.
Keeps has given me the control of my hair back.
Get your first month free at Keeps.com.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
For over 2 decades, I've come to Allen Samuels shop, especially for trucks, because I've been very satisfied with the performance of those trucks. I think the strengths of Allen Samuels is obviously in their customer service and obviously taking care of your vehicle after the sale.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
For walking out
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Allison Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well, service and any kind of warranty issues or those sort of things. Because of the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. And so I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Allison Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well, service and any kind of warranty issues or those sort of things. Because of the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. And so I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
I had somebody that was looking for a car, I would definitely recommend Allison Samuels. The trust that I have, the care that they take, they genuinely want to take care of you. They really ask for your feedback when you go to the support department to make sure they're taking care of you in every way possible. So I really appreciate that they listen to your feedback.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
I had a panic moment running my hands through my hair, and that's when I found Keeps. Keeps gave me the results that I was really looking for.
I definitely felt a lot more confident once I saw my hair coming back.
Keeps has given me the control of my hair back.
Get your first month free at Keeps.com.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
This is a Rogue Media Network production.